welcome to your practice today. This is going to be an inversions and a deep hip opening practice, and also some fundamental teachings of the path of Tantra. So Tantra, and really all yoga, roots itself in what is called sankalpa. It is intention. And our intention is actually the foundation and the root of every other practice. So I'd like to begin with Sankalpa Mudra, where you turn your left hand up, cross it over, let it rest on the right thigh, then bring your right hand from the top and slowly release it down. And then clasp the two hands together. This means the sum, the joining together of your innermost vision for yourself. What's emerging for you at this time in your life. How you want to place your attention, where you want to direct your own energy, and what you are calling forward into manifestation. And this mudra of Sankalpa is grounding the practice and setting the stage from your innermost heart's desire with clear intention. Tantra, it actually means that which expands. So it's that which expands our awareness and increases our capacity for real joy. The kind of joy that is not dependent on any external circumstances. It's not dependent on the perfect partner, the high-paying job, or whatever. It's the joy that is because it is. It's the joy that Spirit has taken embodied form and has this kind of opportunity to learn about itself, grow itself, and express itself. And now release your hands over the legs. We're going to chant a mantra. It's Om, Aim, Hrim, Klim, Chamundaye Viche, Swaha. This mantra, Om, is the great pranava, the creative matrix of all things. Aim is the mantra of subtle wisdom. Hrim is the bija of manifestation. Klim is the bija, the mantra of allowing things to dissolve and release. Chamundaye, Chamunda is a name of Durga as Kali, as the one who slays the demons of arrogance and pride and false ego, Chanda and Munda. And Swaha is the full release, the complete offering. So we'll go bija by bija. Om, and then together. Om, Aim, Hrim, Klim, Chamundaye, Viche, Swaha, Om, Aim, Hrim, Klim, Chamundaye, Viche, Swaha, Om, Aim, Hrim, Klim, Chamundaye, Viche, Swaha, Om, Aim Hrim Klim. Om Aim Hrim Klim. Chamundaye Viche Swaha. Chamundaye Viche Swaha. Om Aim Hrim Klim Chamundaye Viche Swaha. Om Aim Hrim Klim Chamundaye Viche Swaha. Big inhale, and as we exhale, we'll chant the whole mantra in that one out breath. Inhaling. Om Aim Hrim Klim Chamundaye Viche Swaha. Twice more. Om Aim Hrim Klim Chamundaye Viche Swaha. Om Aim Hrim Klim Chamundaye Viche Swaha. Sadhana of Tantra always anchors with mantra. And then mantra is that which draws together in great cohesion the mind and the heart and opens up the clear pathway of inner revelation. Okay, now release the hands, Ujjayi Pranayama, long, deep Ujjayi breath. We're going to be upside down in some inversions. So we'll do this breath Kapalabhati, the skull shining breath. So the pranayama will shine the head, and the inversions is going to bring great radiance and tejas and blood flow to the head as well. So Kapalabhati, the emphasis is on the exhale, and then at the end we'll inhale, hold the breath with all three bandhas. So let your cheeks just kind of rest, your tongue be heavy, your jaw release, and begin. Big exhale. Ujjayi, inhale. The top, Jalandhara Bandha. Steady through the root, low belly in. Retaining the breath, Kumbhaka. Rest your inner drishti to the base of the heart and relax in the space behind the eyes. And gently lift your chin and exhale, release. Ujjayi breath. As you come to Ujjayi, that smooth passageway, the clear breath. Begin Kapalabhati. And exhale. Inhaling Ujjayi. Ground down through the hips, long spine, all three bandhas. A light release of the chin to the sunlight of the inner heart. Lift your chin and very gently release the breath. And Ujjayi, smooth and clear. Exhale, Ujjayi. Inhale and begin. exhale, full. Inhale, ground the hips, draw up from the center of the pelvic floor, low belly up through the spine, light release of the chin, retain the breath. The back of the throat remains open and soft, even as the inner chest rises and the chin releases to this light. Then lift and a gentle release. 2 rounds Ujjayi breath. And then hands to Anjali Mudra. Anchor yourself once more in your own sankalpa at this time, your intention. What are these practices for in your life, like in the deepest way possible? Why have you chosen to practice yoga? Re-anchor and recommit to your sankalpa at the beginning of every practice, and let it be the root from which everything else grows. And opening your eyes. Great. Come to down dog. Place your hands. As you place your hands to the earth, place the remembrance of your sankalpa into the foundation of your pose. Walk your feet forward to your hands. Ground down through the legs. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. And exhale, fold. 3 more times. Inhale. And exhale, folding in. Twice more. Last one. And bend your knees. Take your time and roll up through the spine. Reach your arms all the way up. Exhale down the center and fold Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen the heart forward. Exhale, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up. Exhale, step your right foot forward. Lower the back knee. Inhale, breathe open. And exhale, step back, down dog. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, step forward between your hands, lower the back knee, and inhale. Breathe up. Exhale, touch the earth and step back, down dog. Lower down to your knees. Inhale, reach your right leg up. Exhale, draw your right knee into your belly. Inhale, reawaken. The extension, bend your knee, and exhale. Lower to chaturanga, shoulders up. Push down into the earth. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, draw your right knee into your belly. Inhale, re-extend. Exhale, step all the way through. Back leg straight. Inhale, breathe up. And exhale, touch down. Step the leg all the way up and back. Inhale, come forward, one leg plank. Exhale, lower down. Feet down, inhale, cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Lower down to your knees. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, draw your knee into the belly. Inhale, re-extend, bend your knee, foot up. Exhale, through chaturanga. Push down. Inhale, lift up, left leg straight. Exhale, draw your knee into your belly. Inhale, re-extend. Exhale, step all the way forward and through, back leg straight, and inhale, rise up in the breath. One exhalation, Step back, hands down, left leg all the way up and back, down dog. Inhale, come forward plank. Exhale, lower to the earth. Foot down, inhale, cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Do that flow one more time, lower down to your knees. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, draw into your belly. Inhale, re-extend, bend your right knee. Exhale, lower down, chaturanga. Push down, inhale, right leg up and back, down dog. Exhale, draw the knee into the belly. Inhale, re-extend. Exhale, step all the way forward. High crescent, back leg, straight front knee bent. One great breath, and exhale, touch down and swing your right leg all the way up and back, exhaling. Inhale, one leg plank. So come forward, straight arms, exhale, lower down. Put the foot down, inhale, cobra, and exhale, down dog. Lower down to your knees. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, slowly draw in towards the belly. Pause. Inhale, re-extend. Bend your knee, flex the foot. Now exhale, lower down, shoulders up. Push down, inhale, left leg up and back. Exhale, draw your left knee into your belly. Inhale, re-extend. Exhale, step all the way through. Keep the back leg straight. Breathe through the back of the body. Rise with the breath. And exhale, touch the earth. Left leg all the way up and back as you exhale. Inhale, come forward, one-legged plank, fingertips down. Exhale, lower down. Foot down, inhale, cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Stay here with Ujjayi breath. The end of your exhalation, bend your knees and step or jump your feet forward to your hands. We're going to come down into a squatting position. And if you can, lift the heels up and bring the legs together, and then hands to the heart. And keep the spine tall. Now, the next version is to lower the heels. Take your right foot forward and hold the outer edge of your right foot as you reach your right arm behind. So you're going to take left hand to right foot. There you go. Now some of you can put your heel up on a blanket or even lift the heel. This is a trickier balance, but it requires less opening in the Achilles. And then release. And now a little mid-air switch to the other side. So you can have heel down. You're learning to squeeze into the middle through this one. That's it. You can have something underneath the heel or even do that balance. That's nice. And release. Come into Malasana now. And if your heels don't touch, just put a blanket underneath the heels so your heels can ground down. The feet can go wide, the knees in the direction of the toes, and some of you can bring the legs all the way together, then open up the knees and fold like this. So you can come down. This is a deeper one, feet together, knees apart. This one, feet apart, turning out, arms braced over, palms up, is a little easier opening. Now soften into your breath and let the breath ground you down into the earth, because we're going to be turning upside down a lot. So we're going to get open and grounded through the hips, ground of being, Shiva nature. Then we're going to come up into all fours with our block and practice squeezing the block, which is going to come in handy. And then move the block so it's more flush to the front of the thighs and it can stick out more in the back. Squeeze in and then lift up to down dog from here. Don't get it way up high in the inner thighs. You know, as you squeeze into the block, look to your feet and get the inner and the outer edges of the feet evenly extending back. Then inhale, pull the feet and the hands towards the center of your mat and look in towards your belly as you round the spine a bit. Then exhale, stretch the hands and the feet away from the center, grounding your heels and looking at the space between your hands. And do that several rounds. Inhale, rounding through the spine, looking into the navel, heels lift, and exhale, opening through the legs, the heels, the hands, look at the space between the hands and go back and forth between those two while you squeeze the block way, way up high there. Okay, now the next part is one of two things. Either walk your hands back to your feet and fold forward into a standing forward fold, or two, keep your hands where they are, bend your knees, and do 5 light jumps with the hips over the shoulders and land back in down dog and squeeze the block the whole way. So through the whole journey, you're gonna Velcro this block to your inner thighs. So give it a try. Otherwise, walk back. So you got 5 of them. That looks good. Really nice. It's just a buongiorno to the inner thighs, which will serve us. Okay, that was great. Now walk back, hands back to feet, and you can still have the block up here. Fold in. Your head is lower than your heart here, and this is already an inversion. Then come up onto your fingertips, look forward a little bit, bend your elbows out to the side, squeeze the block through the upper inner thighs, ground down the front of your heels, take your belly back, and move the leg bones down evenly through all 4 corners of the feet as you then slide the spine and the rib cage and the arms and the fingers into the earth, and then fold in even more. Bring your hands to your hips, root down through the legs, squeeze the block as you inhale and come up. Then reach the arms all the way over, palms forward, hook the thumbs, base of the ribs back, tailbone down, open through the throat, and bend your forearms. Look it up a little bit and imagine you're just upside down doing the exact same thing. So it's like a pinch of Vajrasana, and then release. Okay, put this to the side and we'll come back to it. We're gonna take a wide stance over to the right side of the room, but before we go, you're gonna see forms like this. So we're gonna be turning the foot out slightly, going down. Some of you are gonna stay up, some of you are gonna come more down into a half malasana. Go forward, and then squeeze the outer shin, and some can even wrap. So there'll be different forms that I'll talk you through. So taking a nice wide stance over towards the right. First, just take your arms nice and wide and have your ankles as wide apart as your wrist and maybe even your fingers. Hands to hips. Imagine that you have a huge block here that you're squeezing. Stretch down through the hips, lengthen up, and exhale, fold forward, fingertips underneath the chest, arms straight. You can now press down through the front of your heel and lift up the thigh muscles right above the knee. So you're trying to lift up the knee a little bit as you press through the front of the heel. Turn your right foot out. Bend your right knee in the same direction as your right toes. Walk your hands over, bend your elbows wide, and start lowering the center of your heart towards the earth so you open up through the mid-thoracic. That's number 1. Number 2 is go further over to the right, spin your left heel up, and stretch your left leg straight as you reach your arms way forward. So this right heel potentially could be on a blanket. Main thing is that your knee and your foot are in the same direction. Those of you who want to bind, squeeze the outer right shin in to the middle, wrap your right arm around, and then wrap your left arm around. That's it. Otherwise, just keep your hands out more forward, and by leaning forward, that's a good variation. By leaning forward, you're opening the inner pelvis and femur bones back and wide. Okay, release that. Now come up through the center and just stay low and grounded in your stance. Walk over to the other side. Turn your left foot slightly out. Bend your knee a little bit and walk your hands forward and wide. Then stay up on your fingertips. Bend your elbows. Breathe into the opening of the chest and the heart. Next stage is shift your weight all the way over to the left. Turn your right foot up, leg straight. Your left heel might be up on a blanket. And then go between the legs forward. So as you're reaching and extending the spine forward, the inner thighs go back and apart. And breathe right through the mid-thoracic, opening, softening. One of the teachings of Tantra is that we bring our openness to our broken openness again and again. So the places in life that are intense and tough and challenges us and are the fierce encounter and where we start to kind of have heartbreak, we have to bring our openness to that broken openness again and again. So keep breathing. You can wrap. Slow and steady practice. And now push down, release the wrap. Come back all the way to center. Turn both feet straight forward. Stretch out through the legs and then fold and lengthen the spine. As you fold in, you can take the hands, arms straight back with the palms up. Soften through the jaw. Those of you who are comfortable with your head on the ground, place your hands for a tripod, Shirshasana. Anchor your shoulders back, shoulder blades lifting, and then slowly start to lift up. Otherwise, you're just folding forward. And remember, anytime the head is lower than the heart, it's already an inversion. Now, the friends up in Shirshasana 2, wake up your feet a little more. And now reach the legs wide and lower all the way back down. And everyone comes back down with the feet on the ground. Inhale, lengthen the spine forward. Bring your hands to your hips. Root down through the legs. And inhale, come all the way up. Okay, and bring your legs and feet together. Next form, we're going to move towards Pincha. So some of you may not go all the way up, and what you're going to do is practice squeezing the block. In fact, let's all do this together. Everyone get a block again and squeeze it between the inner thighs in a forearm plank. So you're squeezing it in a forearm plank like this. The shoulders are over the wrist, base of the ribs and belly back, tailbone towards the heels. And get it way up high in there. Now try pointing the tops of your feet back as you stay in the forearm plank. As you squeeze the block, as you wonder why you would do this practice at all. And you can look in towards your belly a little bit, take the base of the ribs back, tailbone stronger. Another couple breaths here. Okay, now go back with the toes curled under. Then walk your feet in as your hips lift up and you're in a dolphin form. Pressing the forearms down. Go right into the mid-upper back and open there. Squeezing the block, rooting the tops of your thighs back. And then very gently look forward towards the space between your forearms. Keep pressing the forearms down. Imagine you're doing a cobra now through your upper back. Bend your knees, lift your heels, and try to create the action of a cobra right through the upper back as you keep the base of the belly back. Then re-extend your legs, root your thighs back, walk your feet back, lower your knees down. Come on out. Take that block away. We'll come back to it a little later. Stretch your arms all the way forward. Prop yourself up onto your left forearm. Bend your right knee and come into Ekapata Bekhasana. So we'll open up the front of the thighs so we can go a little deeper into our hips. If you want to take Urdhva form, bring your left arm out in front of you, rise up as you curl the right foot in towards the outer hip. It's a little deeper version. And release. Right forearm out in front of you, bend your left knee, bring that foot in, Ekapata Bekhasana. Look down towards the earth, base of the ribs back, tailbone down, then start curling upward like a cobra pose as you keep the tailbone rooting down. If you like to go into the Urdhva form, feel free to take the right hand out and forward, push down and come up. Okay, and exhale, release. Inhale, lift up to down dog. Step your right foot forward between your hands. Lower your left knee down. Thank you. Shift your hips back and come into Ardha Hanuman. So right leg straight, hips back. Okay, press down through your right heel. Walk both hands inside the front leg. Press the heel down, and then walk your hands over to the left more, taking the chest over to the left as you spin the underside of your right leg back and wide more. Belly back, then draw the outer right hip down and stay low and come forward over this front leg and fold. Notice how the right waist will collapse down. So bring some space there. Go back, gain perspective. There are own places in our own psyche that start to close down and shut down quickly when things happen. We're going to have to back up and make a little space for perspective to grow. And this is really the inner root vision of Tantra. Stretching our awareness, growing our perspective. And then we can deepen into the engagement and the expression. Okay, now lift up and take your left hand all the way outside the right shin. Draw the outer right hip back and then reach up. Similar to a Parivrtta Trikonasana, but the back leg is down and the front foot is lifted, heel down only. Squeeze into the middle. So hugging the block helps build this. And release. Bend your front knee, turn the toes out, the knee out, lower down to your left forearm, lift the back leg up, flex the foot, and press the back thigh down, look in towards the belly, then open up and stretch the right arm straight up at first. Take the right arm back, turn the palm up, and spin the upper arm out. Catch hold of the foot, and now bring it in towards the hip. So you come into twisted monkey. Now as you reach the right arm up, you'll take the right shoulder back to start with. Then that gives you leverage to reach back, and you spin the palm up this way. It turns the upper arm out. You see that? Now we can start reaching, and if it's too far away, then you're going to lift this arm straight up. So come back like this. Stretch this arm straight, and now turn. Easier. And release, step back to down dog. Tantra is all about giving us leverage and access, for the path of full awakening and self-realization. And so we find all sorts of techniques to give us leverage and access in our asana, and it's to show us what's possible in our psyche and in our life. Come to the second side, left foot forward. Ground your right knee down, shift your hips back, and stretch your left leg straight. Press the left heel down, pull it down and back, and walk both hands inside the front foot, and walk over to the right more. So reach the hands over to the right, and then walk them out away from you. And as you do that, press the left heel down and spin the inner pelvis back while you keep your left toes straight up. That'll be the fun. So this first part is simply giving you more permission and space to open up through the pelvis. And then that lets the hamstring open more. Press through the fingertips, belly back, buttocks down, and then come over the leg straight forward. The left side of the belly tends to close a little bit, so back up, gain perspective, pour the left waist back, outer left hip back, then extend the spine long and forward. Yeah, you need another block maybe? You okay with one? Okay. Folding in, Ujjayi breath. So the breath is so nurturing. Now coming into the Parivrtta form, if possible, bring your right hand all the way outside the left foot, brace the forearm to the outer shin, draw the outer left hip back, left shoulder back, and then reach up. Exhale, release. Bend your front knee into a low lunge. Turn your left foot out slightly to the left. Have the knee in the same direction, both hands inside. Bend your right knee. Flex the foot. Turn open from the low belly. Left shoulder back. Left arm up overhead. Straight up. There you go. Okay, now reach this top arm back with the palm up and turn the upper arm out. If it's harder for you to reach your foot, you stay up on the right hand. If it's easier for you, lower down to the forearm. Now reach back to the foot. So your top hand goes all the way back. And if it's tricky, you're going to release this hand down, come up with straight arm. There you go, now turn. And there you go, it's easier. Then lift up through the throat, press your foot back into your hand, shoulder back. There's the pose. You're just crafting and sculpting yourself in these new forms. Exhale, release, and step back, down dog. From down dog, lower very slowly all the way down to your forearms, so your back and dolphin. See if both can happen at the same time. So it might be one, bring it up, and then the other, bring it up. You want to try that? Come up to down dog. Go right forearm down only, and then lift it up. Left forearm down only, lift it up. Both forearms down at the same time, perhaps. Perfect, then walk it in. And we'll be happy with wherever we ended up there. Now some of you take your feet very wide and bend your knees so you just get that shape of a cobra starting in the upper mid-back. Once you have that, walk the feet back in, lift your left leg straight up and squeeze the legs into the middle and try to hover your right foot off the ground. Just a little bit, an inch or two. But you gotta keep the upper thoracic in. Then lower your left foot down and inhale, lift the right leg up. Now squeeze into the middle, hover that foot just for a breath. Excellent, and release that down. Okay, lower your knees, sit back on your heels, come upright, and our inversion play is now going to begin. So some of us will need to go to the wall. The first form we're going to take is this full Pinchamayurasana up on the forearms. If you are not doing that in the middle of the room, go to the wall, and then I'll start teaching you and showing you variations. So anyone who wants to make the journey to the wall with your mat, take your block, all that good stuff, come on over. If you want to stay in the middle, that's great. Friends in the middle, use your block. So if you're practiced and you're in the middle, you're going to use your block, turn your palms up, have the wrist crease to the middle of the block, and then learn to go up and keep the thumb down with the palm spinning up so that the shoulders super open. Okay, now friends at the wall, you're going to back away from the wall, put your and get your block and use your hands to hold the outer edge of the block like this. So friends at the wall are holding like so, and then forearms down, and you learn how to go up, holding the outer edges of the block. Okay, so everyone has a form that they're doing. How's that door? Is it safe? Make sure, okay. So you're going to take one of those forms. You're going to turn your palms open. If you're fluent in the middle of the room, that means you can try turning the palms open. Otherwise, try holding the block. Your head is not on the ground in this one, okay? Which one you want to try here? Yeah, so, okay, take a couple breaths and squeeze your legs together. If you're not doing this type of inversion right now, you're going to do two things. One, take a box position at the wall where you open up the shoulders. Then two, go up on the fingertips and get the elbows really wide, and then open up, take one foot in a lunge, and then open up through the mid-back with the elbows wide. So some friends are doing this. And if you're on that wall lunge, then just switch out the legs and go to the other side. Okay, squeeze your legs, Mike, together and spread your toes. Light it up, light it up. Like big grapefruit style, you know about those. Okay, lower, down, now come on up. Now the friends, so I'm going to start just giving out variations. Friends who were just doing more of this box position at the wall, you can start your first inversion to a box handstand. So you put your hands where your feet are when you measure, and then you learn this much. Keep the arms steady, the upper back through the mid-thoracic open, and push into the wall and lift one foot up, lower down, and you're just building that pathway of trust. Once it feels there, you can go all the way up into this box handstand. Friends in the center of the room, take Shirshasana 2. Okay, so friends who are practicing the full pincha, you're going to put your head down and take Shirshasana 2, and then do it with a block. So Shirshasana 2 is your tripod, and you want to learn to squeeze the legs in and up with a block. So this is the other one. And then learn to go halfway into the Urdhva Danda, squeeze the block and root your thighs up towards the ceiling. And you got to super light up the feet. Okay? So go ahead and try either the handstand with the feet at the wall, or this tripod squeezing the block. Then take your time. So we're just moving nice and slow so we can learn new forms here. That looks good. Okay, get the inner edges of your feet to work as much. See when you hold the block, how the outer feet want to wrap around. There you go. Okay, come down and rest with your head lower than your heart. It's about to get really exciting, I just want you to know, all right? Come down and rest. Now, if you're at the wall, I'm going to give you a little break before we take a look at the next one. What you will do is if you're at the wall, you're going to take your left leg up the wall, turn the top leg in, and then start walking back so that you're moving towards a Hanuman. If you're in the middle of the room, take Hanumanasana, right leg forward. And you know what that one is, this one. Okay? So one form of Hanuman. It's the sense of the monkey play coming out here. If you're in the middle of the room, curl the back toes under, back knee down, and turn your back leg in. If you're at the wall, turn the toes down and curl them up against the wall. And then it's really just a deep respect for yourself in whichever form you are in. And of course, the practices of yoga are going to take you to your edge, because it's at the edge where breakthroughs happen. Okay, so you have to go in a smart, intelligent way to each new edge and then fully receive whatever arises there and have that, what Tantra calls, the complete face-to-face encounter with yourself with whatever arises. Curl these toes under. Yep. Okay, release it. If you're at the wall, walk it out. Walk your hands out. If you're down, pull it in and up, and then switch to the other side. Go back to the down dog. Take your opposite leg up. Turn the top leg in. You could not do any of this and just put your feet right up the wall and rest. Really nice. Long, deep breathing here. When your hands are down on the ground, it gives you a great foundation, like your sankalpa, your intention is your foundation, and you put your trust into it. Put your trust into your hands down into the earth, and then take your belly back and make space. When you ground yourself in your intention, it will start to make space for the truth to arise. Okay, now walk it out. Nice, Maddie, and come on down. Okay, sit back into Virasana, like so. So you're in this Virasana form. You can stay at the wall because I'm going to show you one form there. The friends who are in the middle of the room, not at the wall, you're going to come back to Supta Virasana. Okay, so you're in a Supta. Now the friends at the wall are going to create the shape with the wall, one leg at a time. So if you're at the wall, put your right knee up, left foot forward. Can I use this mat for a second? So you'll be here. It's a similar thing, and then you walk it back, belly back, and then you're up, like in an Ekapata Supta Virasana at the wall, okay? So either laying on your back and go all the way back into full Supta Virasana, or put your right foot up against the wall, the top of the foot presses back against the wall, your left leg is out in front of you like a lunge, and then you scoot back, belly back, tailbone down, start to lift up from underneath and extend your arms overhead. This is a really nice one for both of you. And if you're laying down on your back, you just will stay here while they do both sides, getting your thighs more parallel, your feet very active. So there you go. Perfect. Now reach the arms over. Great. This is, yes, this is the throne position. It's a good one. And what you can do is we can even give you this little neck lift too. Come on back. Yeah, there you go. I love Iyengar yoga. Okay, now at the wall, start to switch it out. If you're laying on your back, you can bring the arms overhead and hold the opposite elbow with each hand. If you want to go deeper than that, you have to press the elbows down, curl up through the chest, get the back of the head on the floor, and then hold the opposite elbow. Slowly come out of the position at the wall, and then come up if you're on the ground. Okay, now come into down dog before I show you the next options. All right, so coming into down dog. Come sit back onto your heels. First option, friends at the wall, you're going to learn how to do this. Put your hands down, step one foot in halfway, and then learn to swing up with that leg straight. So the leg that is on the ground, that is your spring, and then the other leg's going to swing up, and you just learn how to go up towards a handstand, and you're going to try both sides. Friends, in the middle of the room, we're going to do a different kind of play. So you want to do the eccentric Panchamayurasana. One hand tripod in one hand, so let's give it a go. Okay. So tell me your name again. Jenny. Okay, so one arm goes down into forearm, pincha, and one arm goes wide into tripod. And then you're gonna take this elbow nice and wide, Jenny. Okay, now lift the hips up, and then start to lift one leg up, and then the other leg up. Good, so you're gonna come into this form. Otherwise, you're kicking them into handstand. And she's gonna keep squeeze in towards the heels. That's good, that's it. Okay, and then lower down. So give this one a try. Good. And one of the secrets is to take the hand that goes into the tripod Shirshasana wide and bend the elbow, and that'll give you a lot of space in the upper back. Yes? You've never tried this one? You are not on your head, not yet, but we're moving in that direction. Yeah, good, Maddie. Okay, yeah, this one you just got to start somewhere, because that's good. Now, if you're at the wall kicking up, I want you to try both sides. So you have to go with the other side too. Okay, and ready. Squeeze to the middle. Good. Okay, and now lower down. Okay, come down and rest. Keep your head lower than your heart. You can take a child's pose, open up your knees, and rest, or a down dog, or even an uttanasana. Any of these where the head is lower than the heart. And then come up and look to center. Now here's one more form here. So I'm going to show if the friends who are starting to stabilize this form, when you lift up, you're going to squeeze into center and then bend the back knee. And then start to extend out through it so you open it up more as a Hanuman. Okay, so you'll never go all the way up with the both legs up. As the one leg goes up, bend it right away and then start to reach into it. All right? The friends who are practicing other things, here's your next form. You're going to clasp your hands together, elbows shoulder distance. You're at the wall. Your head still does not go down on the floor, and you're going to learn to build your upper body power by pressing through the forearms, squeezing to the middle, lifting the shoulder blades, and reaching through the whole body. Okay? So I'm taking you in a progression towards the weight bearing on the head. Okay, so friends at the wall, for this one, since the head is not on the ground, you can bring your hands all the way together. Elbows shoulder distance apart, forearms down, and then slowly start to lift one leg up to the middle and give it a go, and I'm going to come around and support you. Friends, in this other form, when the leg goes up, you got to take it behind you and bend the knee. That's it. Okay, now I'm going to support you because you're right there. Now that form, the first form I showed, is a great one to start building the power in your upper body. It's not weight bearing on the head at all. So the neck, the cervical curve has no pressure in it. And you're building your forearm strength, your shoulder blade strength, and your capacity to be strong and flexible through the upper body to support you fully. That's it. Now you can step this other foot in. That's it. Now go up. Bend this bottom knee so you can swing a little bit. And it won't go anywhere else. That's it. Finished. Okay. You got one more side for some of you. Yeah. Okay. It's happening. Great. Come down and rest. Okay, all the way down onto your belly. Stay at the wall if you know that your headstand will have to be at the wall. Turn towards the middle of the room. Press the tops of your feet down. Take the base of the belly back, and then slowly lift up through a cobra. So this opening through the back of the heart is actually essential for the inversions to be weight-bearing in a safe way. If the upper back stays closed and protected and we try to weight bear, then that's where the cervical curve is not happy. Okay, so gain the power and strength in your legs, free up the mid-thoracic, open through that central breath. Ground underneath the index knuckle. And now exhale, lower down, and take downward facing dog right here, wherever you are. Long, deep Ujjayi breath. Then sit back down on your heels, lower the knees, and sit back on your heels into a Vajrasana. Take your arms out to the side, the friends at the wall, you can turn towards the middle. You're going to take your elbows out to the side, palms open, elbows bent. And then lift up through the sides of the chest, up through your throat, spinning the upper arms back and out. Soften through the breath. Exhale, clasp your hands behind the back of the head like a headstand. Cradle the back of your head, lift up through your throat. Anchor the arm bones back, shoulder blades on the back of the rib cage, and create a curve through the cervical part of your spine, through the back of the neck. Now with your hands at the base of the skull, keep the curve, and then lift the back of the skull up towards the sky. The spine grows long, deep breathing. This is a headstand. So a safe headstand will have the proper curve with length and space, and then you're fully able to weight bear. Okay, and now release. So now we'll take headstand, and many of you will stay at the wall for this. If you're practicing headstand in the middle of the room, then begin practicing with the block between your upper and inner thighs. So you're going to do this same kind of sequence. The block is between the inner thighs, and you learn to come halfway, squeeze the block, inner thighs up, and then all the way. All right, and you can play with some forms where you twist, but you're still squeezing the block. Okay, so Shirshasana at the wall. Those who are more practiced in it, you're going to start doing it with the squeeze of the block, and it will increase your what's called Ekagrata, your one-pointed focus, your capacity to be like a laser beam of awareness. The headstand is generally slightly more heating than the shoulder stand, so it's nice that it's before it. Let me come help you over here. If you really want this block, but you can't figure out how to get up with it, then I will come over and put it in between your legs for you. Is your head on the ground? Okay, let's come down, and you're going to clasp your hands and come walk down. So the headstand position is actually with your hands clasped like that. Now put your head down in the back of the head. Then you're going to lift up into this headstand, and I will put the block there for you when the time comes. Squeeze up. You got it. If you're not doing the inversion, open your legs and squeeze. You can lay on your back and put your hips to the wall and your feet straight up. It's amazing for the endocrine system. It's called Viparita Karani. Now, if you're in the headstand, try to stay there. I want you to hold for at least 3 minutes. Spread through the toes. You're squeezing the upper inner thighs. It's nice, Scott. Great through the feet. Try squeezing the block and twisting to one side and then the other. You just stay right here. I want you to stay here and build this. Good, Maddie. Reach up through the inner feet and through the mounds of the big toes. There, right there. Now draw the outer edges of the feet towards your outer knees. Spread your little toes more. Okay. Turn your feet straight forward now. You got it. If you're in the Shirshasana with the block and you've twisted to both sides, then lower the legs halfway down, squeeze into the block, and build the power of the thighs to root back up towards the ceiling. Okay, now lower down. You can come with the block. Great. And then come down nice and slow. That was one grand exit, all three of you at once. Keep your head lower than your heart, either child's pose or downward facing dog. Head lower than the heart. We'll all come here. Really nice. Now so there's so many benefits of the headstand. It is so excellent for clearing the head of sinuses, building your immunity, the foggy brain syndrome. You start to get a lot of clarity that moves through and clears it like gray clouds out of the sky. You can just feel these effects here. Then come up, and let's all come back into the center. And we're going to go deeper into the hips now as we set the stage for our shoulder stand. Stretch both legs out, bring your mats all the way back to center. We're going to lay back onto the forearms with the legs straight out in front of you. So back on the forearms, legs straight out in front, squeeze the legs together, root the inner thighs down, tailbone towards your heels. Then inhale your right leg up, right arm up, bend your right knee, take your right arm inside to hold the outer edge of the foot, pull back on the right knee towards the floor. At the same time, push down through the inner left thigh and push your foot into your hand. Long, deep Ujjayi breath. And now creating that cobra through the mid-thoracic, even as the base of the ribs release towards the back of the body. Soft through the eyes. You can draw the leg down a little more. And release. Extend that leg all the way out. Both forearms down. Look down the mid-seam of the body. Inhale, left leg up. Left arm up. Bend this left knee. Reach your hand to the outer edge of the foot. And draw back. So see this outer part of the foot, from the outer heel to the little toe side. I'm going to draw it back towards your outer knee. And that'll bring a lot of stability into the sacrum and let the thighs open even more. Press your right forearm down, press the right thigh down, open up through the chest, and draw the leg more and more open to the left rib cage. Even down. Great. And here we go. How's that for you? And release it and come all the way back. Now lay down onto your back. Bend both knees, put your feet on the ground, and cross your right ankle over your left knee for eye of the needle. So right foot over the left, flex your feet, thread your right arm through, your left arm around, and hold the back of your hamstring. And you just keep your feet super alive, that looks good. And spread your toes right here. As you draw the knees in towards your belly, press your thigh back into your hands. So you create that counter resistance. If you like a little more, stretch your left leg straight up and keep pressing the left thigh bone back into your hands. Keep rooting the thigh bone away from your belly. Here you go. Now bend your left knee again. Release the hands, keep the legs as they are, and lower your left foot down to the floor. Bend your elbows by the sides of the body, fingertips up. Press the elbows back, shoulders back. Inhale, lift your hips up in this form and clasp your hands underneath the back. It's a bridge form with one leg in eye of the needle. If that's too intense for you, you release it and take the normal bridge pose. Now press the upper arms and the forearms down. Energize this foot. The inner thighs keep spinning down even as the right leg opens externally. And you just go right into that encounter. Whatever is being held and stored in your hips, whatever arises for you, breathe into it. Stay steady. Root again into your own sankalpa. So your root intention actually holds this practice, even when you're right at the edge. Stay there, another breath. And exhale, release the hands and lower down. Great. Stretch your legs out. Yeah, you can give a little tap over the legs. Over the belly, I like that even better. Okay, a little drum roll. The drum roll for the second side. Bend both knees. Take your left ankle and cross it over your right. So we start out in this nice basic way, then thread your left arm through, your right arm around. You're drawing the legs in, so it's a great opener, fabulous opener for the lateral rotators, those muscles that connect from the sacrum to the trochanter, from the back all the way around the side of the hip. And then draw the legs in more towards your belly and your heart, even as you press your right thigh bone away from you. Long, deep breathing. Activate your feet. Then stretch your right leg straight. How you doing? Is this a tight one? Get in here. How's that? Whatever you encounter, keep breathing into it. Root your right thigh back into your hands. Release your hands. Bend your right knee and put your foot on the ground. Bend your elbows by the sides of the body. We'll come into the bridge form, so right foot down, left foot active. Press the upper arms back. Spin your inner thighs down. Inhale, lift up through the hips. Press back through the base of your skull. The neck rises away from the floor with its natural curve. Then soften your eyes down so the eyes cascade in an ease-filled way down, even as the back of the skull presses back and the shoulder blades sweep up. And clasp your hands for a little extra bonus. Keep pressing down through the forearms. There you go. There's the sunlight heart. I know you got that one. And then release your hands and slowly come on down. Okay, stretch your legs out. This is the kind of practice that's just like moving like slow taffy, a little bit at a time. Right leg up into a cradle. One of the best ways to enter the cradle, go back to the pose we were just in without clasping your hands. So right ankle over left. You're in the eye of the needle. Then simply take the form up towards your belly. Then wrap your left elbow around the right foot and your right elbow around the right knee. Put your left foot on the ground, lift your head up, and you're in the cradle. So left foot down, right shin bone coming into a cradle. Next part, stretch your left leg out and release the head back. That's where the ton of Tantra comes into, the great expansion. So it's technology, a pathway of expanding realization and expanding real joy. And we learn through the asana how to be super patient with ourselves and filled with respect so that whatever arises in the body, we don't push it away or reject it, but we honor it, breathe into it, and we know change is coming. Now the next part, you stay connected here, then lift your left leg up and rock yourself all the way up to seated in this cradle. You might take a couple rounds there. Excellent. Then bend your left knee in and release the right shin down over the left. Agni-stambhasana, and you have the symbol of Shakti here, the inverted triangle. Make a little space, femurs turn in, back and wide, hands to feet. Push into the hands with your feet and lengthen your spine. Fold forward. Feel free to reach the arms all the way over. Agni-stambhasana. This pose can be a strong encounter with the hips, depending on your own body. If it is, then it's a great time to be in your pranayama. So you're going to breathe all the way down into the pelvic floor as you inhale. And as you exhale, allow the breath to rise up through the center of the pelvis and the low belly and to circulate there. It's a particular form of breath connected with Shakti Mudra. You inhale down into the pelvic floor. And as you exhale, the breath rises and then circulates through the entire pelvic region. Inhale, come on up. Great. And stretch your legs out straight in front of you. Take your arms out in front of you and slowly lower down with ease, with control, all the way back down. Take your arms overhead. Inhale, legs up. Exhale, over the back. Then lower all the way back down. Stretching the legs out, back, down. Keep squeezing them together until the feet land. Then bend both knees. Take your left ankle over your right. Draw your knees up towards your chest. Wrap your arms around the knee and the foot. And then put your right foot down away from you, knee still bent, and lift your head up. So you're in the cradle position here. Press the left foot into the right elbow crease. Start to stretch your right leg out, reaching the inner thigh down, and then lay your head back. Go right in to the center of the pelvis with your inhalation. And as you exhale, the warmth of the breath rises and circulates through the hips, through the low back, through the pelvis. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, swing it up, forward, and come up to seated. Pull the right leg in. Left leg goes over top. We're back to the other side, Agni-stambhasana. Give it a little spin, a little turn. Hands to the feet, press in, lengthen your spine, and then fold into it. Now the top leg will receive a little deeper opening in the inner adductor. So if it's tight for you, you can lift up out of the pose, get your hand, your left hand right up in here, and then even the heel of the hand, and get that inner femur to ground down and widen. Then you scoop the buttocks down into that. So as the inner femur goes down, you scoop the belly back, buttocks down, and then lift up through the belly, and now fold forward, and it starts to make a little clearing space there. And as we hold this, resting into the breath, return again to your own sankalpa, your root intention for these practices, for the sadhana, the spiritual practices in your own life. What is your root intention? What gets you here? And then ask, whatever that reason is, ask if there's something inside of that, under that. And then just keep asking so you follow it. all the way in. And coming all the way up, and stretch your legs out. Marichyasana with some variations. So we will keep the right leg straight and, take your left leg straight and fold your right leg back, because we want to work with the right shoulder first. Then left hand on the floor, inhale, right arm up. Reach up long through the right side body, Marichyasana 1. Exhale, reach forward. Squeeze your right shin, like we did in those wide half malasanas in, and then wrap your arm around. Take your left arm out, palm up, then turn it in and wrap it around. Possibly fingertips to fingertips or right hand to the left wrist, or holding a strap and fold forward. If this is too much in your shoulders, fold the right leg out to the side and then fold forward, Janu Shirshasana. So if it's too much in the shoulders, you take this forward fold called Janu Shirshasana. Great. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, ground the pelvis and turn from underneath the belly a little bit and fold. So you get the spine to lengthen right over this front leg. Inhale, come up, switch, right leg forward, left leg back. So the first form is with the left knee up and the foot away from your inner thigh. Second form, that can be a little easier, open the knee out to the side and put the ball of your foot to your inner thigh with the foot spinning up and then fold. Okay, so Marichyasana 1, reach the left arm up, exhale, forward, squeeze the outer shin in, then turn, thumb down, wrap, reach the right arm and wrap it around, fingertips, possibly wrist or strap. As you inhale, keep hugging the outer shin in and lengthening your spine. That's a really good pose. Yep. And exhale, folding forward a little bit. You stay right here. It's perfect. Inhale and come on up. Really nice. Okay, next form. So which leg are we going? We had the right foot back first. This one back first, your right foot. Is that right? The right is right? Okay. Next form. Either take the same exact position and come into a twist where you lean back and then twist open to the right with your left arm outside the right leg, or take a lotus position with your left leg and then fold the right leg back and take Marichyasana 4. This one's a little deeper, so you have to get way over there and squeeze the outer shin in, wrapping the arm. So it's the same pose. The only difference is that the left leg is either straight or in half lotus. Now, if you're doing the half lotus form, your left knee has to be on the ground. There you go. And no pain in the knee. Keep your foot really clear. Inhale, lengthening the spine, whichever form you're in. And exhale, deep in the twist, anchoring your outer right hip down. So see how, yeah. Yes, so what you will want to do is keep the leg down, the knee down, as you learn to take lotus. And then release, and we're going to switch to the other side. So yes, like that. So when you lean into the lotus leg and keep this down, then it doesn't go up because that starts to bind the hip. Okay, second side. Either right knee folds back, left knee folds back, and you lean back. Draw the right foot in towards the belly and extend up through the side, up through the crown of the head, and then twist. Or you're in the half lotus form, doing the exact same form. Great. No, let's stay in this form. Now anchor this heel down and press right there. So press right here. Like, can you push just there? Okay. Every inhalation, lifting and lengthening through the spine, and as you exhale, deepening into the twist. Soft through the eyes. Good. Yeah, that side. You know, the deeper a twist goes, the more it lifts. So what you do is you can lean away from it to get in, and then as you start deepening into it, you start to pull it and anchor it down. But that's the nature of a twist. The outer hip lifts. Yeah, so we have a scenario happening. Okay, inhale and come all the way out. Stretch both legs forward. Take both hands behind you, bend your knees, press your feet down. Inhale, lift up, Purva Tasana, so the eastern opening of the front of the body. And then exhale, lower down. We're going into shoulder stand now. Here is, would you pass me one block? Here is one option that I'd like for you to be aware of if you're not doing full shoulder stand. You can take 2 blocks and stack one on top of the other, turning them wide. And I really like this one quite a lot. Take the 2 blocks and slide them the wide way underneath the whole band of the sacrum, reaching to the outer hips. Then lift up through the chest, palms open. And you'll simply stretch your legs straight up, like so, and be here for about 3 minutes. Okay, so this is an excellent version, and you get so much benefit in the bathing of the thyroid and the thymus glands. This is the Queen of Asana, shoulder stand. Friends who are doing shoulder stand, you have your blankets, and you come up. And as you come up into shoulder stand, one form you can do, which I show a lot because I love it, is shift the hips over to the side, take the outer leg and the opposite hand and open up Hanuman style. And it's an amazing opening through the hips, through the chest, and very stable in the sacrum. Okay, so we're going to finish with a little shoulder stand. If you're using the blankets, you have to stack them, and I can get some and show that in the middle. So anyone who needs to see, you'll look towards the center and I will show you. Otherwise, you can go up. I know many of you are practiced with this. Those who need greater support, you take the blankets and you fold one on top of the other. Then you get this smooth edge to line up. You're going to fold the mat 2/3 over. When you lay down, you put your head on the mat, your shoulders right before the edge of the blankets, and then you'll have a lot of space so that there's no pressure in the cervical curve. Not a single vertebrae is touching the floor, not in the thoracic nor in the cervical. When you press your elbows down, learn to use the power of your arms to take you over, adjust the shoulders underneath the back, hands, connect, and then the legs up. And you're completely at ease here. I'm going to come around and adjust you. If you like that other version I showed, you've got 2 blocks the wide way. Then turn your palms open, and that just lets the collarbones be wide and the arm bones rest back. Visualize that you're getting an endocrine system bath up through your thyroid and your thymus gland. It's very soothing to the whole body. Now the friends who are doing the monkey play, the Hanuman play, you shift your hips over to whichever side you're going. That hand has to become the support to the side to which you're shifting. So it goes right up underneath the sacrum, then the outer leg comes towards you. Yep, that's exactly right. Yep, twist, and then take the other leg. Now take your right hand to your left foot. Opposite hand to foot, bend this back knee. There you go. Now stretch through the inner leg, and now start to stretch the leg straight. and then extend, and I'll come help you next. You feel that? Come up. Okay, now I'm coming over to you. So now bend this knee. Turn the pelvis towards Jenny a bit. There you go. Now stretch this leg out. Let this foot lift up a bit. There you go. That's it. Breathe. Okay. If you've done the monkey play, make sure you balance it out on both sides. Take about another minute here. So my friends who have the legs up, this is a really good form. You're resting the legs into each other. You give it just the right amount of energy to keep the legs upright, and yet you're fully relaxed. Completely relaxed. That's it. Nice. Okay. I'm going to give you a little boost here. And then start coming out of shoulder stand towards halasana. There you go. Now lift your left shoulder blade up. That side and round the arms again. And if you're in the other form, can lower the feet, and you'll have to lift the hips and slide the blocks out in order to come down. How was that one for you? It's a good one, right? And then slowly come out of halasana, squeezing through the legs, slowly reaching through the inner thighs as you extend through the leg bones. And then everyone, Supta Baddha Konasana. Feet together, knees apart, arms out to the side, palms open. Rest into your breath. Then slide into Shavasana. If you have blankets under you, just move them over to the side. Release Ujjayi breath now. Rest into the great interior of your own self. You are being breathed and loved. And given the gift of this particular embodied form. It is the sankalpa of the universe, of consciousness itself, its own sankalpa, to be exactly you. Receive whatever ebbs and flows within you. Nothing to hold on to or push away. Simply the ebb and flow and the tides of your own beingness. And you keep resting more deeply inside this inner flow of your being. Resting your awareness in your breath. The inner expanse of you, infinite, just keeps finding new ways of opening, new ways of emerging within yourself, new ways of bringing yourself to the expression of your life. Allow your outer body to rest in this inner opening, so that the skin simply rests to the inner light. As you move through life, you can rest into the inner expanse as you take action. Notice when the body gets hard and tries to push its way through action. Then come back to your breath and allow the inner infinite self to be your guide. And the outer agenda of self keeps resting into that inner guidance. And together a great cohesion awakens, and our actions begin to be in the flow with our own inner truth. And we move through the world, and the seams of the world start to open as we take one foot in front of the other, following our own path of heart, of dharma, of clear action, in service of love. Start to move a little bit with your fingers, with your toes, your wrists, your ankles, arms and legs. Come up to seated. one Om together, inhaling. Thank you for your intention, your sankalpa. Namaste.